Hey everybody, we're here at All Dahlia'd Up in Palmer, Alaska. Hey, I've got my date here, Christina Stemple.
Hello.
Hey, it's so good to be here in Alaska with you.
Thanks for letting me be your plus one.
Oh, of course. And we're going to film some, oops, sorry, I got my camera centered. We're going to film some of the tour tonight, and hopefully we'll see dahlias here in Alaska.
Here's our amazing view. And it never gets old, as you can see. We're 2 farms in one here, and that mountain you see is Pioneer Peak. And what I love about it, it stands over, watch over all of our fields and my family's vegetable farm as well. And what you're seeing out here at the edge of the grass line there is the field of probably 80, 90 acres of potatoes. And it's just a great place. We would like to bring people and tell our story because it's a beautiful story.
So, I've lived here for about 30 years. I met Glenn when my son was 3, almost 4. And when he asked me to marry him, I told him that, I'm not just marrying you. And he's like, yeah, I have my family and stuff. I said, no. If this does not work out, I do not know where you're going. Because, this is my office every day. This is where I live. This is my home, right? Which brings me to what I really, really believe is our most precious gift, and that is time. Because once we give our time, we don't get it back. It's gone. And so how we spend our time, who we spend our time with, and what we do with our time is very, very the number one most important thing that we can do. Because we don't know how long we're going to be here, right? I don't do what I do by myself. I can't plant all these flowers myself. I can't weed all by myself. In the beginning, I had a small little area and I could. And then my daughter decided she wanted to earn a little money. So she kind of joined me. And then her best friend Stormy joined us. And they were like 14 and 15, and here they are, they're mid-20s and still with me. I love that. And then Miss Kathleen joined us last year just to help. She's a good wrangler and keeps just so lovingly, just keeps everybody just feeling special. I love that about her. So without them, I couldn't do this. Without my husband, I couldn't do it. He does all the tilling. He gets things set up to where I can do it myself. The Sweet Pea Tunnel, we widened it this year, and he built me a tubing bender that I can operate by myself, and I can make 2 foot or 6 foot with the same bender. So this is considered small scale, high intensity production, and it's reason why it's a high intensity production is the spacing. We're fitting probably closer to 4 acres of flowers and just under an acre.
Here's a shot of the growing space I was telling you about across the street. Just another angle in. Our Pioneer Peak over there, as you can see. And this space changes a little bit every year as we cull flowers or bring new flowers in or bring old ones back. It's a great fun place to plan in the wintertime.
How do I decide? Yeah, is just what you like, or is it what you have
Customers like? In the beginning, it was just throwing a spaghetti noodle on the wall.
Yeah.
Let me get you guys together.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was like throwing spaghetti on the wall because I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I was just going to
Hi, kitties. Thanks, Misty.
Here we are out across the street showing off one of our growing spaces. Of course, that's the beautiful bee's friend right there. It's so awesome to be out here and just, sharing what we grow, how we grow it. This is a great opportunity for our guests to ask me questions because I'm right there with them, holding their hand, just sharing everything that we have going on here. And as you can see, people just really like it. We also give free rein. You can take pictures and just really enjoy your time here and just walks amongst. And of course, as you can see, you can also bring your glass of wine or your favorite beverage along for the ride. It's just a really beautiful space to share the beauty of flowers and the beauty of nature. And I can't get enough. One of the things that we do here during the tour is you get to make your own floral centerpiece to sit at their table space. And here are some of the flowers that go in that and more sweet peas. Oh, the Sweet Pea Tunnel. Definitely one of the attractions we're known for here at All Dahlia'd Up Flower Farm. It's just a great place to be. We typically start out here and just walk through and, you take it all in and breathe in. You got to stop and smell. Just walk and walk. It's so beautiful. And then definitely look up definitely look up and get your picture taken.
You having fun?
Personal touch we like to add is when guests arrive, they get to write their name on a coaster and pick their table spot. And this is also a spot where they put their floral centerpiece.
Another reason why we grow over there is the irrigation's over there. There's a big well over there with a timer. I just gotta go. Oh, go home now. Same here, but I gotta drag the hose over. We have a well over there, but we haven't done anything yet. But anyway, there's 2,000 dahlias planted here. We have several varieties. We do the Karma series, which is a root cutting just for cut flower growing. We do a substantial amount of those, but less than half of the tuber production that we have. This year we decided we were going to plant them by color if we could. And then what does the Karma series people do? They throw in some red with my fox purple. I did not order that. It has been a saga of a year with mislabeled tubers from companies that I purchased from and the whole thing. But it's quite lovely. It looks beautiful. I didn't order the red. It looks like confetti. Oh no, go ahead. Oh, I already have it. I would go with this one or this one. Right here. I want one of the two. Yeah. The only problem. I don't think there's rules.
Yes. If you ask my mom, there's rules. You haven't met my mom.
He's still messing with it.
Watch my head until it goes out the door. Oh, I just want to figure it out.
Yeah. No surgery. Shoulder, I think. Or just PT.
But like, see how like these just like curl and they kind of look like they might just, I don't know. They just look like they just meant to be like that. They're like curly and I like them.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Soul Flowers Show. I'm Deborah Prinzing, and today I have a special guest who's a return guest, Misty Vanderweele of All Dahlia'd Up Flower Farm based in Palmer, Alaska. Hey, Misty.
Hi, Deborah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks for saying yes.
Of course.
Well, we've been talking a lot about your farm and agritourism and floral tourism, and you are a past guest of the podcast, but it's been so long. I think we did the interview before COVID, so
yeah,
it's about time to talk again. And you are getting ready to, within the next month or so, announce your dinner tours and other on-farm events for 2025. So I thought it'd be a good time to talk about what's cooking at All Dahlia'd Up. I mean, you've got a lot of different buckets. So I don't know, how do you explain all the things that you're doing at the farm?
Well, basically we're a cut flower farm and we are a floral destination. And it's where we're located with Pioneer Peak. And we're two farms in one, with Vanderweele Farms being the big vegetable farm and us, the bright, shiny, beautiful, vibrant spot in the middle of all the green. It's just a great spot to really differentiate myself and show what Alaska is and also what flower farming is and agriculture in general. And it's just a great platform to really hone in on the fact, local is very important, and that whole Alaska grown model.
Yeah. And when you say the bright spot in the midst of all green, the Vanderweele family is one of the largest vegetable producers in the state, right?
Correct. Yep.
And you married into that family.
I did, Glenn. Yeah, he's the oldest sibling of the Vanderweele Farms. And so we are basically, mom and dad are still very much a part of it. And we just are,
Vanderbilt Farm is not going to go anywhere. It'll just keep going on. So my
Yeah.
husband and his siblings run the farm along with his parents, and we have 5 acres right in the middle of it all. And I
Huh.
decided to start growing flowers, so I call myself the bright, shiny little spot in the middle. Well, I'm outgoing, and it just fits.
It does fit. Well, having been able to visit, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But I guess first of all, my observations about what you're doing, and we've known each other since 2017 when you attended the very first Slow Flowers
Yeah.
Summit in Seattle, and I guess at the time I was so focused on, oh well, the peony industry is so big in Alaska, and it's really kind of all that's happening. And then I meet you, and I realize I don't even know if you grow peonies. I mean, you're
No,
doing etc. Like every other variety of
we're doing
flowers.
everything
So
else.
yeah. So why is that, and how did that come to be?
Well, in the beginning, I was only going to grow dahlias. And I'd always, in my whole growing experience, growing up as a child, the influence of my grandparents, my first job was in a greenhouse, a nursery. I always have had plants and flowers around me. And the dahlia in particular came about because my son brought one home to me when he was in kindergarten, and it's a spindly little thing. And I was, how old was I? I wasn't in my 30s yet, and I had some hanging baskets and things like that, but I'd never really planted cut flowers or anything. I didn't even know
Right.
that was a term really. And so that's just really where it started, was that dahlia, and it was a seedling, and when it bloomed purple, and it happened to be my favorite color. And what's interesting about this story, and heart touching and heartbreaking, is Luke had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and we were told we'd be lucky to have him graduate high school. And so when my father-in-law, and he saw the dahlia, and I didn't know if I could keep it alive. I didn't even know. He's like, well, Misty, the dahlias grow tubers and more tubers. And so something about that thought in my mind was, you mean I could have something from my son long after he was gone?
Mm-hmm.
And it just
Mm-hmm.
it imprinted my heart, and I
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of filed it away and just started propagating those purple dahlias. And we did lose him when he was 21, though. He did graduate high school. And in my throes of the heaviness of all the grief, I had those tubers, and I could hardly leave the house. I was broken. I just had to learn to
Yeah.
rebuild myself back up. And the flowers helped me do it. I planted all those that I'd propagated over the years. And when they bloomed, it really was like he was loving me from heaven.
Yeah.
That's the explanation. And it was the first time I'd felt any relief, any this, like, the heaviness had lifted for a little while, and is the flowers. And it kind of planted this little thought in my mind: is, could I do this as a business? And obviously I've done that. It's 12.
Right.
This year's our 12th season.
Okay. I was going to ask you, when did you actually form all your dahlia obsession into a business?
It started slowly, because the grief was hard, but
Yeah.
I started in 2014. It's actually, he passed in January 13, and so it was that summer that kind of
Mhm.
planted that idea. And so it was the following, that
Mm.
2014, that I expanded the color palette. I had never grown any other dahlias before, and I decided just to play around a little bit. I mean, what could it hurt? And I'd always grown, a little bit of sweet peas and stuff. And when shortly after that, all of a sudden it hit me that I had to share this.
Mhm.
I had not
Right.
just the magic of flowers, but share what we've created here. And I've had people just walk into the yard not knowing what we do and go, I just feel love here. And I just wanted to marry all the components of where we live, the beauty with the flowers and the food. And I know people don't live like we do. This is a complete lifestyle. And so I know it's so, people dream of living the life that we have.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to
Yeah.
show people that they could have it if they want, but if they can't, they can come take a peek, and I'll share.
Well, a couple reasons that works. One is where you're located is a kind of a high traffic, and you use the word destination. It's a destination because the state fair is down the road from you, right?
Yep.
Or fairgrounds. Yeah.
That's right across the street from us. Yeah.
So the traffic, although it's probably annoying, is also like you're a billboard. Your flowers are a billboard for people coming up and down that road. Thousands of tens of thousands of people
Yes.
every
Yes.
summer,
And
right?
And so we were market grower first. We just took all of our flowers into a market that was an hour away, and I slowly realized I'd sell out so fast that I would spend so much time I had to stay there, and so I was
Mm.
wasting a lot of time. And it would drive me nuts because I was wasting all this time on a Saturday. And so I'm like, can I have a flower stand here? Could I do it? Could I, And so 3 years ago was our first summer, and it was actually the worst summer I've ever farmed because the weather was so cold. That
Oh,
was
wow.
um 20. Well, let's see, was that
22?
22? I think that was 22.
Yeah.
And then 23 is when you came,
Mhm.
and that was a pretty good summer. But it ended cold, and the fair, I didn't have enough signage up, and there's some things I really learned. But last year, I had that whole winter to think about it, and so I ordered all these signs, and we spiffed up the flower stand and made parking spots, and really advertised. We put posters up all over the community, and it really our profits went up 33% just doing that.
Wow.
And so I was
In
pretty pleased.
in floral sales or in floral
In
sales plus events?
floral sales.
Wow.
The events have always sold out and have done really, really well, but switching from doing a market to the farm stand, it set me back a little bit just because my customer base was mostly away. And so it took time for people to learn what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the drive? It's like a 45 minutes outside of Anchorage?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
It is.
Do people come out to buy
Yes.
flowers? Wow.
Yes. I had a couple customers come, and they're like, "You look familiar." And I'm just smiling, and they're like, "Wait, you're All Dahlia'd Up. You used to come to the market." And I said, "Yeah." They were like, "We just come out here because we just wanted to buy flowers today, and we saw that you were here." And then after that, they kept coming back all summer. So people are,
So
yeah,
the market was an Anchorage farmers market.
yep,
Yeah. Yeah. But it's so similar to what I've heard from other growers too, where you feel like it's a great way to get started. It's a good incubator, but ultimately you get smarter about how you market and how you sell, and you need to get people to come to you so you can
yeah. And
keep farming.
my dream is, part of it is to be home.
Mhm.
See my husband drive by on the tractor, have help to where if we want to go have lunch, or and it was the first couple years I didn't even have time to make dinner, and so this has forced me, like, well, what's important to me,
Yeah.
and those are the things. And so I also was in a position, we do have a second income. I could take the risk of doing it when I did it.
Yeah.
It was really
Yeah.
scary.
Well, it is a risk because it's not a year-round business because of your climate, right? I mean,
Correct.
what is your season? Is it
We've
like
got 120, 140 days, depending on the weather of the season. And we've just had weird climate change happening the last 4 or 5 years. Um, but, but looking at the model I had and wanting to share it, that's basically where the dinner tours were born. And we started from like 10 friends on our deck to, a yard full of people, and the long tablescape, and the food, right? The food
oh
and the
my god.
flowers.
Well, so might as well just tell everyone that when I came in 2023, I brought Christina Stimble from Farm Girl Flowers, as she says, my plus one. And we had both been to peony farms in Alaska together, but we were so excited to come experience the dinner and the whole hospitality, education, interact, like engagement, like people get to immerse themselves in flowers when they come to All
Yes.
Dahlia'd Up. Yes, it's a working farm, but it's so beautiful because of the view, the scenery, the
Yeah.
vibe, and of course, it's a beautiful farm. You're not a messy farmer, but you create this experience that. How long were we there? Like 3 or 4 hours? It was like a
It's
big,
about
long.
4 hours all
Okay,
said and done. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I advertise 3.5, but it always, especially if the weather is nice, it does go a little longer, and we don't mind.
Well, and also sunsets at like midnight or something.
Oh,
So,
well, right, there's that.
so how did you come up with like you have a winning formula, and I know you probably had different iterations till you got to where the way it's set up now.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yes.
You talked about the food. So you really wanted Alaska grown food as
Yeah.
your menu. Did you have to partner with multiple chefs or I can't
No,
remember.
so when I started my farm, it has been a fortuitous experience after another. Um, Everything I've ever done I've been able to use. And we had a family friend who is a chef here in Alaska, and he's really good. And I called him up one day. I didn't think he would want to do it because I'm small, and he was, he travels all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling him what I wanted and what I was doing, and he's like, "Well, I want to do it." I'm like, "You want to do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to do it." And I said, "Well, I at that point I said, well, I do 2 dinner tours a year." He's like, "I'll do both." I was like,
Wow.
"You'll do both." And so that's kind of how it happened. And what is really crazy, he's Delicious Dave, Alaska Catering. That he has changed many. Like, he works for a guiding company now and
Mm,
does all their food, but he also travels the world as a chef.
like
And
a private
so,
chef.
yes, but his background is he used to have a truck where he drive around to all the farms in Alaska, get produce, and take it to the restaurants around town. And that's how he got started here. And my father-in-law gave him some produce to get started.
Mm,
And that's kind of how it all happened.
yeah.
And so has friends. He's friends with all these farms of our vegetables, of course. But if we can't find something, we try to keep our menu a little different every single year. And that's how it was born. He had his flavor combinations. I don't have to come up with a menu, but this is what he does. He's like, "Well, what were you thinking for a menu?" And so I'll say something, and he goes off left field and comes up with something completely different. I'm like, "Okay, that sounds fabulous. Now I'm hungry."
Wow.
So
Well,
that's
the
kind of how it happened, and he's got all the
yeah.
connections.
Yeah, but the produce is coming from Vanderweele Farm, like
Yes,
you're the for
yes,
the vegetables and the salads
and
and
the
all.
strawberries.
And the strawberries, right.
Yep.
That is amazing. Well, the food was delicious.
You don't have to have a vegetable farm to do what I'm doing. You can bring in
Right.
another farm. You can figure it out. You can
Mhm.
do a, field to base type of, farm table dinner.
Right.
You could do it anywhere. You don't even have to
Well,
be a farmer to do it.
yeah, like, how did you start? Did you kind of create, like, kind of an event that budget so you knew what all your
No,
costs were?
I wasn't that fancy in the beginning. In the beginning, I said, "Well, I want this. I don't know if I have anything, so I'm gonna make a bunch of food and invite a bunch of friends." And they bought a ticket, but it was really small. I mean, I don't even want to tell you how small it was. And I want to know if I was in the ballpark. Do I have
Hmm,
something here? And
hmm.
every
You
one
mean
of them
kinda
said,
like a beta test?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
kind of just a little bit with some family and friends on the deck. And that's really how it started. And it just started growing after that. And then I realized, first of all, it's illegal for me to be cooking food for people. And then I wanted to go bigger. I knew we
Yeah.
could go bigger.
Well,
And so,
you wanted to really, become an event that
yeah,
people would come from everywhere to attend. It's something to do when you go to Alaska if you can get it on your schedule.
right. And we keep it very small. We only have 32 seats at each event, because I want it big enough that people feel like it is something very special, that they're part of something, but also small enough that they feel that they can really enjoy the experience
Mm,
and walk in the flowers and
mhm.
take pictures. And we've had people lay in the flowers. I mean,
Yeah,
just totally come in and feel very special. That's really what I want people to feel when they come here, is that they do belong, and that this is very special, and
right.
that they're very special.
They meet your team, they always meet your daughter, and
Yep,
sometimes your I think your husband makes a cameo appearance, and,
yep.
the,
And only because of Dave.
yeah,
It's only because of Dave.
okay. His buddy, the chef. But what do you do how I can't remember how the winery got involved because you have, people coming to pour wine that are like as a tasting,
We have
right?
a wine bar. It's hosted
Okay,
as part of the ticket price.
okay,
And in Alaska, every state's a little different. In Alaska, all you need to do is have somebody with that TAM card um, serve your alcohol.
okay.
And I can buy the alcohol, but I can't serve it.
Oh, is that like a catering license or something like
They have
that?
a catering license and a TAM card so they're legally able to serve alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and so I pay them to come and pour. I happen to know many, and so it worked out really well. That was kind of the final piece. So we're having the events. We'd have music playing on the Bluetooth. People never complained, but I'm always looking for ways to elevate the experience, and so we've added live music over the years, and of course the chef food. We've done some smaller events where even if it's not chefed, it is catered
Yeah.
and it is Alaska grown.
Yeah.
That's if you want to cook here, you have to have our food.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
flowers. Last year we had a sweet gypsy, and she did all of our cheesecakes and had our flowers all on top of them. They're just beautiful.
I
Yeah.
love the addition of music. I mean, you're out in nature. It's your whole, like, for me, my experience was like my whole metabolism slowed down, so I was just calm and not feeling rushed, because you don't rush people, Misty. You let people wander and take a lot of time before they ever sit down to eat, but they're having so much fun. They're not going, well, where's the food? Because,
Yeah.
they're
And,
doing.
and sometimes, each event flows just a little bit differently. The people, kind of dictate that. I've done it so many years now. I know, if we're running 30 minutes behind, I know how to make that up and nobody even feel it. Because it's important to me. I don't want you to feel rushed, if at all possible. There's some things that happen that you have to, but otherwise, I just want people to feel that. I want them to calm down, slow down, and really enjoy. You've paid to be here, and yeah, so it's important to me. I want people to experience something special and beautiful.
Well, they do. I can I can give an endorsement for it. It's just so special.
It
And
was so great having you here. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Dream
I'm
come true.
so glad it worked out. Um, Highlights for me, I think, was the tour that you personally led. And so people could be, well, first of all, in the age of the selfie stick, like, everybody was getting their selfies in the flower fields, and the
Yeah.
flower fields are pristine. But you teach people too. You talked about intensive planting and what that means. You talked about, which varieties of dahlias you're growing for cuts, and people could ask questions.
Yes.
So you're fielding all that, and then we end up getting to make our own bouquet. And has that always been part of the
Yes.
experience?
Yes. Hands down. Because
Loved it so much.
that was what was important to me. When I started doing my events on the deck and in our yard in the beginning, American grown flowers where it's doing their own field to base. And I wanted to kind of emulate what they were doing in a way, but I also wanted to make sure I was different enough that I had something unique. And that was part of the experience. I want people to have hands-on experience with touching the flowers and realizing you don't have to be an expert to do this. You just to touch them and have them touch you and have them in your life. You don't need to be a flower farmer, a florist. You just have to love them and want to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the two favorite things is the guided tour and the flowers, and all the rest is good, but they really love those two things the most.
Honestly, the gathering around the workshop tables where people could make their own bouquets, there was so much of a buzz. Like, there was so much conversation. People who maybe came with a small group. There was a group of girls who were like doing a birthday party for somebody. They all wore matching t-shirts. There were people of all ages. There were couples. But everybody was engaged. And then you have your pickup truck filled with flowers. And I don't know if that's to draw from, or was that more for a photo op, but that was sort of the focal point that we could all just,
Well, we
go
have our
pick
focal
from.
flowers on the table.
Yeah.
To cut down on time, but it's so fun to go to the truck and pick your stuff for your bouquet,
Yeah.
and we try to have it as full as possible, and so people can just pick what they want.
Oh, I see. So you could do both. You could pull off of the table where you've pre-cut.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
like I said, we usually put the focal flowers on the table because they're usually more delicate and it's just easier. And because what I don't want to happen is 3 girls all in a row pick all red. I want it so when you take it back to the table, it looks beautiful. I want the the color palette a certain way, and I never know what that's going to be from year to year. It changes every year.
Well, the picture is behind you from your poster,
Yep.
and that I see what you're saying. Like you want this sort of rainbow effect of
Yes.
every flower, every color, and but everything looks like it was exquisitely planned by an
Yep.
event producer.
And
But
everybody, they make their own, and we use a just a simple little jar that fits in your cup holder, so you can take it home with you. I've played around with different vases over the years, but the jars are the best. They just are the best because they fit in that cup holder very nicely, and I think it's what we're being known for, not just our farm stand and our flower stand with our bouquets, but the events. People really want to be a part
yeah.
of them.
Also, Misty, there's such a sense of pride to the diner, the guest. I mean, Christina and I are like you, we're with flowers all the time, but a lot of people aren't. And to take that and have it right in front of them while they're dining, and there's so much pride in that.
Yeah.
They're never going to forget the experience
No,
because
we create magic together. This whole beautiful experience where and I try to point that out too, that I didn't do this. Yeah, I set the stage, but you all are the actors, and brought your A games, and created something beautiful, and we created something beautiful together.
so okay, so you're getting ready to launch your 2025 season. Describe what you have in terms of dinners and other events because I know you kind of mix it up.
Yes, and so this year, we're having a different happening here on our farm as far as our manual labor. My daughter is no longer going to be doing that part of it, and neither is Stormy, which Stormy and her
Oh,
have been with me since they're 14. So I won't have them. Be at the events though. They're gonna have they don't want to give that up. They want to stay helping with the events, and I love that.
but they're not
But
farming for you.
yeah, but
Oh,
also with that, I'm gonna be training new people, so we're not
yeah.
going to have a July event.
Okay.
That's just too crazy with bloom time and all the stuff. I just don't want
Yeah.
to deal with that this year. So
Yeah.
this year we're doing two dinner tours, and then one in August and one in September, and
Okay.
then we have the flower retreat. And the flower retreat is kind of a spin off the dinner tour, except for you don't get a dinner. It's during the day. It's a beautiful curated lunch. But what it is we have 5 to 6 hands-on floral experiences where you can make your own bouquet, make your own flower halo. We have a flower meditation we have a flower mandala we do. It's basically just be immersed in the flowers. That's the whole part of that, the point of it. For 5 or 6 hours.
Wow.
So it's the day of flowers,
Yeah,
and
we've talked about it. You do it every other year, right?
yep. This year
Okay.
though, we did it last year, but we're doing it again this year.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Yep,
And is it attract a different type of customer or
a little bit,
yeah.
a little bit. There is some overlapping because we've had some of the dinner tour goers that come back every year. They want
You
to
got
do
your
the flower
fans,
retreat.
your super fans. But is it a smaller group? The 34 dinner guests
Um,
seems manageable, but something this intense, do you have fewer people?
we're still offering the 32 seats.
Oh, 32.
We at least have to have 5, so they're higher end ticket than the dinner tour, and I can't go lower on the price on that. I just can't. There's too much going on with that. But so we just keep it at 32, and so if we get 10, we get 10. If we get 20, we get 20. We've never hit the 32 mark with that price point, but I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but we could definitely handle 32 very
Okay.
easily with this event.
I love it. So when is that? When is the
That's
floral
also in
retreat?
August.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
so a dinner and the floral retreat in August, and then a dinner in September, and then you're training a new crew, but you'll still
Yep.
operate the on farm stand, which is like basically a retail flower shop.
Yep. That's how we run it. We have the standard like market bouquets that you can purchase, but you also can pre-order. We have a family of bouquets. That's what we call them because they're named after the family. We have the small one, that Jenna Benna after my daughter, and then there's the medium one, Misty Mama after me, and then we have the Glen, which is the big one. It's after my husband, and then we have
That's great.
the Luke's Lush, which is a great big wrapped bouquet with a big bow on it in memory of him. And
Aw,
so we have the family bouquets and then just the standard market bouquets. We have small, medium, large market bouquets. We kind of keep in that little category there, and then we'll
we'll have like small bundles of sweet peas and different things like that for all the price points. But that's basically what we run. I've really tried to streamline what we offer over the years to make it simpler for me and with the events too. So we're really just kind of honing in on this little niche here, and I really enjoying it.
But you are unique in the tourism world. I mean, everybody goes to Alaska for, the helicopter ride or for the fishing. And how have you integrated with the tourism industry to just show up and be like, hey, we've got something unique and different, and
Well,
we want to
I
promote
am a
that?
member of the Visitors Bureau here in Palmer, and we carry a rat card over there. And when our first year we got started, we did Harvest Host, which people would come camp on the farm. We soon realized that that's just a little bit much for us. It was fun to do,
Yeah.
but that's basically how it happened. And what it is, people stop in the visitor center and they see all the things that they can do, and there's this bright, shiny floral card there, and all the wives are like, okay, we're going over there. And so we also do the 1 hour guided walking tours during the week.
Okay.
And so the rat cards for that, and they learn about the tours and our website and all the things. And that's basically how it hasn't been all that hard. I
Yeah.
didn't have to change my verbiage or anything. I just show up, a shiny bright spot in the middle.
The walking tour, though, that's kind of a nice, more affordable, and also maybe a little more informal experience.
Oh
Or
yes, way more informal. The kids can come. You can bring grandma. If you have some physical disability, we really try to accommodate. That actually means a lot to me because our son was in a wheelchair, and
yeah,
we, like I said, we really do try to accommodate where we can, because flowers are for everybody.
yeah, yeah. So you're in the middle of your winter, but you have to start promoting all this, and
Yep.
the poster behind you, you said, is going to be at this big home and garden show, which
Yep.
is
It's
what?
February 1 and 2.
Wow.
Yep, that's just coming up. And there'll be seminars there. I'll be doing 2 seminars, one each day, about how to grow dahlias and get an earlier bloom. When I spoke at the Seattle show last year, it's the same one. Yeah.
Well, this is great because people are starting to realize if you're a gardener, you're going to learn some excellent tips from flower farmers. So
Yeah. So it's a farm and garden show, and I'm so excited about it. It's the first time I've done it.
That's great. Well, we're a little premature, but I do have to say, I'm just going to tell everybody the new book that Robin Avni and I did. We wrote it and produced it together. It's called The Flower Farmer, and it is coming out May 6th. And there are 29 flower farmers in the book, and Misty and All Dahlia'd Up are featured in it. So
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see it. It's gonna be so great.
I can't either. And I will say that your photography is so amazing that Robin went way overboard in submitting photos. We did not design the book, but we did kind of have a
You can
little
nudge it a little bit.
yeah, had a little influence on what the selection was. And so the designer really loved your story and your photos. So it's a big spread. And I'm excited. I mean,
Yeah.
you represent a type of flower farming that most readers will not know exists. They'll
Yeah.
just assume that nothing can grow because it's too cold and snowy in Alaska.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your story with us, and we're going to have some fun. We'll have fun celebrating that.
Yeah, and if people are interested in the events, the best way to learn about everything we do is join our newsletter list. And if I ever become a pest, just unsubscribe. But you get first dibs on anything we offer if you stay on that newsletter list.
Yeah.
And tickets will go on sale first to the newsletter list. That's one of the benefits. And last year we came close to selling out with our newsletter list on one of our events.
So we're going to share the link so people can sign up for your newsletter. You're not quite ready to announce when you're going to open ticket sales, but pretty soon, right?
Yeah. Well, we open ticket sales in February.
Okay.
We always have, like I said, a little preview for. I'm not going to give it away, but we always have a little something for
subscribers.
Newsletter list. Yes.
That's great. It's hey, if you're in the floral industry, you can treat this as a business trip and
100%.
Education. You can't take a bad photo at All Dahlia'd Up.
Even in the rain.
You can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't.
Well, you've got a big year coming up, and I'm really
I do.
excited that we could do this. But anyway, we'll make sure we share the link to sign up for the newsletter and follow also your social media. So you post a lot of stuff on that too.
Yep. During January, a flower a day keeps the winter blues away.
Thank you so much, Misty. This was really fun. I really appreciate the conversation, and it's a good way to bring your flowers to everybody in January when we need to have our spirits lifted and need more color in our lives.
We do.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
You bet.